So we ain't got a plan for today then, you're just winging it?
No, well, kind of. I thought we could talk about Lakeland.
Ben's never really winging it, he just wants to give off that vibe.
Yeah.
That's it. It's cash. That's just how
I've got a couple of little nuggets in my head.
Okay.
Anyway,
how much detail we're going into with Lakeland?
Probably better. You've put 4 posts out, haven't you? So at first I thought I should DNF.
Have you?
They just kept coming out, but then I realised you.
Maybe 12 if you'd have DNF.
Yeah, exactly.
4's enough if you're finished.
Yeah, I let you have 4 actually. You were good.
Laying up floor with gas mask on.
Have you told them about that?
No, you don't know about that.
Yeah, that's one for later on, isn't it?
Yeah.
I said I was going to question about everything and how it all went, but said, no, we'll just leave it until...
Just leave it, find out now.
Don't want to have to repeat herself.
Exactly. Well, I thought we'd better start the podcast because if we do some really good chit-chat, it might as well be in it, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Just get Gary chewing in background.
Yeah, so if you're listening and watching and you can hear someone munching it, it's Gary and Pete, I think.
I've finished now.
So, welcome to the RUNcensored podcast with me, Ben Mountset, the one and only Gary House. 2 special guests today, returning guests for the first time. Now, we've never had that before in the history of
And I feel
RUNcensored.
privileged.
So Mel Sykes, who doesn't really need an intro because we've introed you, I don't know what episode it was, but if people want to find a bit more out about you, they can go back. It's the Mel Sykes episode. Can't remember the number. But Mel, I don't know, best way to describe yourself, hardcore ultra runner really, just a lover of the sport.
Yep.
Yeah. And you've come today with another special guest, Eorl Crabtree, who is rugby league legend. I'm fanboying over here actually because I'll tell him some of my my memories of him playing in a minute and other bits and bats. But you said you were coming up with Eorl today, and he wasn't going to be in the podcast, but I was like, please can he be in the podcast?
Yeah, he's got no choice now. He's stuck a microphone in front of him.
Especially when I've got a hangover as well. I really appreciate it. But no, it's all good. Yeah, just a privilege, a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us, though. Honestly, it's much appreciated. And yeah, I mean, just to start on that, I have watched you play a lot. In fact, best memory, not because it was an amazing game, but just because it was an amazing experience. I have come over to watch Giants at Catalan Dragons a few times. So I flew to Carcassonne, few beers in Perpignan, watched the game, few more beers afterwards, trained to Barcelona the next day, flew back. What a weekend. I mean, that is a formula, isn't it?
It's an epic weekend, but I've only ever done it as a player, and I've got fond memories and tough memories back of playing against Catalan. Very aggressive, French, typically very aggressive, and had some abuse over there. I'm just going to say, I do a little bit of after dinner speaking as well, and one of those sort of memories is from there. Swear?
It's RUNcensored.
Go for it. Perfect. Okay. So one of the memories I've got is walking through Perpignan, and I've gone with all the lads. So we've gone out for a coffee just before the game, and could hear this voice over there going, Eorl, Eorl, Eorl. So we all look over, and I look over at this guy, and there's a Catalans fan over the road. Eorl, you are shit. And that's the abuse where it started off, and it just got gradually worse and worse until we had about 10,000 people just shouting it at me in the game. Always a very tough place to go, very physical and very aggressive, and they absolutely hated me.
That usually means they're worried about you, though, no?
Of course it is. I always took that as a sign of respect at the same time. I like winding people up. It's what I've always done. That's, the hairs, long hair. I like to be a bit of a character, have a bit of a laugh with people, take the piss out of people, and just have that sort of banter, but just enjoy it as well. And I think when you can do that, you really embrace it, and it's good fun. But
makes life easier.
It does. You don't take it too personally, and I think you do, that's when you struggle. I never did, and I think it's just a part of my nature. Quite a chilled out person, so I like to wind people up, and when they're giving me more grief, it just made me want to step up another level and play even better. So yeah, Catalan, great place to go, very interesting place to play. Very tough, but yeah, incredible weekend. I'd like to do it on the lash though with the lads. I think that'd be a little bit different.
You can do that a bit more now, can't you?
Yeah. Well, I've been retired nearly 10 years, so I do enjoy myself. I won't lie. It's I like to. I train professionally, and that's institutionalised to a certain degree. You know exactly what you're doing every single day. You're told what to do. As soon as you retire, you can do what you want. and I won't lie, put on a little bit of weight after drinking a little bit too much. And I don't mean in a bad way, I just enjoyed myself and let myself go a little bit, and then now trying to get fit again. So yeah.
Sounds like where I'm at with running, to be honest. I mean, we usually start every podcast out with Gary talking about football, so this is like a refreshing change.
I was
Actually,
going to
talking
say,
about
what's happened if I walked into the wrong room? I'm a Welsh rugby union and a football fan, so out my depth.
And we were saying just before, actually don't know if we were on camera, but where we are now in North Yorkshire, it is rugby union, but where we're from, West Yorkshire, like rugby league is just the sport, isn't it? Like the biggest sport.
It is, obviously outside of football. The M62 corridor is rugby league, and for me personally, it's I'm from Huddersfield. That's where the sport was actually born, and the George Hotel, and
next to the train station.
That's right.
I know it well,
and so there's obviously that history. There's that nostalgia, and for me personally, the game needs to grow. And obviously, it's rugby union around these areas, and we'd like to expand the game. That's why I work at an expansion club now down in Birmingham, Midlands Hurricanes. Very proud to be their managing director, actually. So it's a really good position for me to be in, to try and expand the game of rugby league. We need it to increase. We don't want it just to be on the M62 corridor. We need to think outside of that. But it's an exciting time, actually. I just love the sport. I'm very, very lucky. I know it's not for everybody, and I'd like it to become a sport that is for everybody, inclusive, all-inclusive. We're going to do a lot of tag rugby, which is very important now in Birmingham, getting into the school. So, yeah, exciting times ahead.
Sounds brilliant. And this is an unlikely matchup. I didn't realise you two were such good friends, but you've been friends, you and Mel, since early school days, haven't you?
39 years.
Yeah, we're that old, which is the worrying thing about it. Yeah, went to junior school together and just been mates. We're in the same circle for all that time. And
has she got you running yet then?
She tries to. I'm not.
Downhill
with the
specialist.
build. Yeah, downhill. I'm pretty fast downhill.
Nice, mate.
Yeah. For a short
That's
period of
gravity
time.
for you.
Yeah, it is, mate.
that's
I
what
know
it
a lot
is.
of weight behind me. Momentum, you might call it. I'm doing a bit more at the moment. Went out yesterday, 31k, so I'm quite happy with where I'm getting to. It's going in the right direction. Never been a fan of running. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'6". I'm 20 odd stone. I wasn't always built for it, but I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get into a different sort of mindset at the moment. So it's
Trying to get him signed up for a 50 miler next year.
she wants to get me signed up.
Manchester to Liverpool.
Watch his space.
Good friend of mine I started off PTing with. He was the first guy who went into PTing in a gym, and it can be quite an not hostile, that's the wrong word, but people competitive.
Intimidating.
It is intimidating,
competitive atmosphere
Yeah.
and stuff. And I always got away with it because I was like a 9-stone runner compared to the lads trying to get big. But there was one lad, Rob. He was a rugby league lad, and he played he's just retired from North Wales Crusaders.
Yeah. I don't like them, by the way.
No.
They're very good.
Yeah, they are quite
top
good.
of our league, actually.
And he played. I don't know where he went. Maybe he played the standard above for a year or two, but he just loved. He's a Wrexham lad, lives in Wrexham, didn't want to travel and stuff. Got a good business in the gym, but I always remember he was, his athleticism and everything was just unreal. One of the first kind of times I've met someone and gone, across the board. And funny enough, now he's retired. He's been retired about a year. He's gone into running and stuff, so I've been chatting again and getting him into running. But yeah, it's always funny because when the rugby lads are coming over, and granted he's a bit different because he's always looked after himself. So usually they come to me with a knee that's ruined 5 times, or hips are knackered and stuff like this. Whereas he seems to be in good nick. So. Yeah, it's definitely good though. And it's usually cycling you go into though, isn't it? Because
a few of the boys have gone into that.
You make really good triathletes. Trust me, a lot of them. Yeah,
it's just too hilly around where we are for you to cycle in it.
Yeah, I just don't enjoy it that much. And I think I'll be honest with you, it's the roads at the moment.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's something I did a few years ago. I did a triathlon up at Windermere. It's only Olympic distance, but I really enjoyed that and trained quite hard for it. But just getting on the roads now, it's just I find it really hard. I've had a couple of close calls as well, where someone just pulled out right in front of me. I ended up becoming friends with the guy actually, which was quite amusing. When I met him at a networking event, and he ended up. Do you know when you do a minute?
Yeah.
He actually stood up to do his minute and he went, "Oh, I've got a confession to make." He goes, "Earl, do you remember when you was riding down this hill into Brockholes?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I was the guy that pulled out on you."
Oh, no.
And he was absolutely bricking it as
Did you
well.
write his car off?
Is
Is that how you remember?
He looked at me square in the eyes. I was coming down the hill, he pulled out, but instead of like keeping going, or
Yeah.
like he just basically stopped. So I went round the back of his car and I just carried on because I'm not that sort of person. People make mistakes, it's just life. But anyway, I met him later on at a network event and we ended up becoming mates off the back of that. He's a really good lad and he totally messed up, which was quite funny.
Yeah.
Classic. So yeah, I mean, the rugby league players are so fit, just generally out there now. I've always watched rugby league as opposed to union, but I love how fast the game is. And I'm good friends with a guy called Damien Ball who used to play at Halifax and then coached at Halifax, and he invited me down to do a training session once at Shibden Park. And I was running really well at the time with some short hill sprints. I got absolutely annihilated by the team. Honestly, like I couldn't believe how fast, fit the team. I mean, pretty much semi-pro team, some professionals in there as well. And I was blown away by the fitness levels. But I suppose running has had to be a big part of the game just generally, hasn't it, as a consequence of playing at that level?
Yeah, obviously it's more power-based and it's short speed, and you have to be fit as anything now. The game's totally changed as well. So when I started, played against like Bradford Bulls in the early 2000s, and your wingers were, one was called Leslie Vinocola, with the Volcano, it was called, and Tavita Vicona on the other side. And then you had Shontaine Happy, but then in the middle you had Stuart Field and Jamie Peacock, and Jimmy Lowes, Joe Vanganar, and these were all massive human beings, like I mean really, really big. But the game's developed over the years where everyone's becoming a little bit smaller. So people like myself, big guys, have sort of been phased out a little bit. It's all about just being fit. So running now is playing a massive part of the sport because you need that level of base fitness to be able to just continue and run. But then also you need to throw in these little short bursts as well.
Like body shapes and things. It's weird, isn't it? Like you mentioned that. Just like I notice it in rugby union, everyone's kind of morphing into themselves. You can't really look at someone and go, like you'd be able to pick a position almost by what they look like. It's and when I do watch rugby league, it's kind of similar. It's
very
just
much
like
so.
Robots all the same kind of thing.
But that's the game has become very robotic.
Yeah.
It's all about keeping hold of the ball, not making mistakes, just be the fittest you can possibly be, strongest you can. So for me, I used to offload, so run into a tackle, bounce people off, and I'd look for an offload. Whereas now you get told, do not offload. It's a high risk move.
Yeah.
You could lose the ball, it puts you under pressure, you have to defend more. So yeah, it's not as exciting, I don't think, in that regard. But there's some skill in it.
Football, isn't it? Like all that data analysis and stuff. It's like all the shooting outside the box and everything's been taken out because, like you say, the percentages are lower. So you get less creativity and less people taking risk because you're playing percentages all the time. It does bring.
Running's going the same way.
Yeah. Well, running's the same way. The same as cycling, going to power and everything. Tour de France just been on. That was
It's all about the
a
metrics.
bit boring, really. And running can be the same because if you're looking at your watch, you know what you can do and all that kind of thing. Unless it's like Lakeland or something that Mel's done. At least you get some variability. In
My
that.
battery went.
Your
On my
battery
watch,
went.
yeah, and just didn't have out.
Was it good?
No stats, no distance, no time.
Just
heart
raw
rate
dogged it.
out. Yeah, just wandering along.
running on field,
Just running
old
on
school,
field.
all of that.
Be
And the
someone's
feel
worst
wasn't
night. Be some people's worst nightmare, that wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it would, yeah, because some people just want to look at stats all the time, but I was quite enjoying it when battery went, and then...
To be fair, Mel's only got one pace anyway, so
yeah,
shouldn't change downhill
mate.
or anything, just like that, and plows on.
yeah, like a tank.
Yeah,
Is it good having?
having?
Because I always like it's when you've got a really good friend that's completely detached from running, or like you've got a good friend that's completely detached from rugby league and stuff. Is that good? Because I always like that as well. It's like something else that's interesting, but you can have a bit of banter with as well.
Yeah, because we get to, like, you tell me about your rugby team, I'm not interested in most of it, like, I don't understand it, and then I talk to you about races and you just zone out, don't you?
Yeah, I think so, to a certain degree. The thing is, like, because we know each other so well, we have done forever, like, we've been through some stuff with our friends and everything else, we just know each other sort of inside out in that sense, but it's just our sense of humour. We're both, like, we call ourselves Raj, don't we? Because we just have like weird conversations about the most random stuff, but that's how you know you're such good friends. But I support Mel quite a bit and like genuinely really proud of her because I've been a professional athlete and I did that for 16 years and then it's like kind of Mel's sort of taken up what she does now, especially at the level that she is. And I
Now we're
genuinely
old.
believe, now we're old, which seems to make you even stronger, which is strange. And I've seen her go through some stuff as well, especially with your brain falling out the back of your head, which was a tough time because like I took you to the doctors as well, didn't you? When you couldn't see
They were all took me
properly.
to the doctor's first time when I were falling over when I went out for a walk, wasn't I? And he ran me to the doctors and that's when they like diagnosed it.
And if you thought it was just your eyes, they were trying to give you glasses and stuff like that. So it's like, so you go through that with somebody as well to see where she's gone to. It's genuine inspiration, like really inspiring to me as much as anybody else. And I like I said, played elite level sport, but she inspires me. And I think that's just incredible, the person she is. Also, she's daft as a brush as well. So just like we just have a laugh together. So that's what it's all about. But we take the piss out of each other. That's kind of how it works as well. It's that Yorkshire thing as well, we think.
Great relationship. You've been there for each other then through the thick and the thin and the good times, the bad times. So yeah, I suppose now, like you said, now seeing her doing so well with the running, it's and coming full circle almost from like that really low point you had with, the brain falling out.
Yeah, because you came to see me in hospital a few times, didn't you?
Yeah. You needed looking after, didn't you?
Where
then she goes back out and starts bloody running again. He's like, well, what are you doing?
I'll run it off.
That's it. Literally run off. That's again
Wet
mental
paper
toughness.
towel.
And have you been to any of the races and stuff like that?
Do you know what? No, I haven't.
No.
But this is something we've spoken about. That Mel, this is her thing. So she goes she just goes off. She runs on her
it'd be
own.
interesting. I always think what people come from elite sport would think of going to a Lakeland or whatever and seeing.
You were going to come up to Lakeland though, weren't you?
Kind of
And then
atmosphere.
you got a better offer with a golf weekend.
Yeah, I went golfing
so
with lads instead.
Right, so
yeah.
It was
We
supposed
can
to be
talk
coming
about
to
the golf then
Lakeland.
instead.
Mate, absolutely, that's my
No, I'm
favourite
old.
sport.
I'm playing more golf than running at the minute.
Well, I'm trying to. Yeah. I'm doing a bit more run, but golf's my sport these days. It's a little bit, but I'm definitely gonna go support you, and then you're going to support me on a run apparently next year. So we're looking at that.
Maybe next year then you could do the Lakeland 100 or 50 together, couldn't you? That'd be quite good.
I mean, I'm happy to drive down and be around the area at the time. But,
Too early for you, that one, isn't it? We're thinking of like Manchester to Liverpool.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think you'd be all right at that, wouldn't you?
I had no idea.
Just jump in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cars are allowed in that one.
There's some great pubs you can watch the Lakeland from though as well. Like
Is
just going into
there?
the villages. Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe that could be an option. I'll join you.
Well,
with
I
that one.
could, yeah, exactly. We can do our own sort of ultra marathon pub crawl. I'm all for that. And we can
Exactly.
create our own one.
Fun stuff.
We'll race Mel around, but we'll do the drinking. Yeah. So Mel, Lakeland.
Yes.
Let's talk about it because it's not the first time you've done the Lakeland, is it?
No.
One of your favourite events.
Oh yeah, I love it. The whole atmosphere of it. It's one of those, it's a bit weird in the build up to it because you know it's going to be such a big race, and I run on my own most at time, like just up on moors. So I get a little bit, not anxious, but knowing that you're going into something like that because it is a big thing. There's a lot of entrants in it now.
And just so people are aware of, who are listening to this for the first time and aren't familiar with the Lakeland 50 or the 100, just describe what it is, where it is, and where it runs from. Because there's two main events, isn't there? Is that correct?
Yeah, so it starts in Coniston. The 100 miler is a big loop from Coniston, and then they do a 50 miler that they bus the 50 milers out to Dalemain, which is like the halfway point, and then they run the second 50 mile of it back to Coniston.
So
and then
on,
there's
on the same course,
on the
like
same
the same
route.
half.
Yeah, so they moved the start of that forward this year to, I think it was 10 o'clock, and normally it were 11:30, and there's just a bit on the Lakeland route when you're going on side of Haweswater that's the path's really narrow, so that's always been my aim to get off that path before the 50 milers, because I think there's 1,500 of them, something like that. Yeah, in the 50, so it's a big field on those narrow paths, but our path's there.
And you had to be moving quite well to be ahead of them all, wouldn't you? In the
Yeah,
paths
yeah.
Before that,
Yeah, because we started at 6 o'clock Friday night, so you've got to get past there and then onto that next bit past the Mardale Head checkpoint before they come flying past. Yeah, so that's a little bit nerve-wracking because once you get stuck on there, you're just in single file. I think 460 people-ish finished the 100, so yeah, it's good amount. It's quite a big event.
And what is it about that event that you love so much? Is it like because it's in the
It's
lakes?
just hard.
Is that what it is?
Hard, yeah.
A real test.
Yeah, because it's hard underfoot. There's some road bits. like the trails are rocky, so they're not over the fells. You're on good paths most of the time, and you're going over the passes rather than going up any at summits. So
It's one of the only hundreds or races I can think of, definitely in the UK, where I think potentially the first 25, 30 miles is like the hardest.
yeah,
Isn't it? Like that,
yeah. I think to Buttermere is the
up over
I think
Blacksail Pass and stuff in the dark and everything. And
yeah,
that
because you're
first
straight into it
marathon
dark.
distance it's a tough marathon distance, and then you've got the whole, you've got 70 plus, well, 80 plus miles.
Is it quite good getting that out of the way though, rather than like having it at the end when you're absolutely broken? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Tough
it's a
start,
better way
obviously.
around to do it. I think there's 9,000 feet of climbing in first 30 miles, so it's all that early on that you're doing it night, and then second bit's a bit more runnable then. Well, runnable.
And just the
unless
fact
you...
that it starts going up Coniston Old Man, it comes off, doesn't it? But then you've got a long uphill and a very long downhill, haven't you, into the valley, and then it's just, and that destroys a lot of people, I think.
Oh yeah, early
It's
on,
just,
yeah.
Just the
There's a
nature
bit of a
the
gate
start.
about maybe half mile after you come out of Coniston, so you go up road, up Minel's track, and then you get to a really narrow gate, so everyone like sets off like a silly twat because they want to try and get to this pinch point, and you don't want to be queuing for ages because some people are waiting there 20 minutes.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But then you're like zone 5 up for still, and then you're just done in. So a lot of people get to that
Yeah.
first or
And
second
drop out.
checkpoint. Yeah, because they've gone too hard at start because you.
I think I might hold the record for I've DNF'd that race at like mile 97 or 98.
No way. When was
How
that?
come did you want to just get more posts out afterwards?
So I've done it. I've done it twice, and it was probably the fittest of, like, when I was really fit, and I trained specifically for it. I was with Martin Cox at the time, and I went into the first one really fit, and there was I think I was running in like the top 5, and slipped, hit my head in the first 20 miles, and 4x4'd off the course. So I had concussion basically, but like mild concussion. But it was a good and a bad thing. Bad because obviously didn't finish the race. Good, but because it was concussion, they put me in the 4x4, so I didn't have to wait for that bus that takes 6
Sweeper,
hours.
bus of
Literally,
shame.
I was back at the start within like 40 minutes or something. But yeah, and then the second year I went back, and I was arguably fitter again. And I remember running with Paul Turney. He probably won't remember because I was about 5 yards off him. But I had this innocuous trip again within the first 20 miles. Didn't think anything of it. And then like the ankle ligaments just got worse and worse. I was getting slower and slower, and it's getting more and more painful, to the point where by the time I got to Ambleside, which like at the time the saying was no one quits after Ambleside. My race time had gone.
Apart
but
from you.
I'd made it down to Ambleside. But it was like I had a big, massive ring around my ankle of where basically the ligaments and stuff had just got inflamed. Limped over Loughrigg bit, and then kind of pulled out on the road along there. And I was like, because I just wanted to finish it. And like the race had gone, but I just couldn't even walk. I remember the car pulled up. I couldn't even step off the curb onto this ankle. I just had to get lifted into the car. How embarrassing is this? Like getting driven the last 3 or 4 miles to the finish.
And then did you go through in third place and take third place?
I would have. Yeah, they were long gone, mate. But that's what brought me back to it. It's like the one that got away. I never entered again. But I remember, like Mel was saying, so the 50 milers were coming through, and it was when, remember, like Katie Cares, and her husband Casper were coming through, almost racing each other, like top 3 overall.
Wow.
In the 50, and I just remember seeing them. Like, I should have been long gone, but it was actually quite good seeing the 50 race coming through while I was hobbling along. So yeah, you do have to be shifting to get past them.
Yeah,
so
you do.
The 50 and the 100 people are sort of finishing at the same time, are they?
Yeah,
Or...
well, the speedy hundreds they're just finishing.
Yeah.
I mean, Damien All just finished when there were nobody about, obviously, because he's finishing
So
in
they're
afternoon.
doing 20 hours, which is what, midday?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's,
Or
it
just
will be,
under,
won't it?
yeah.
If you're watching now, do you separate the two races? Is it like a different colour?
Different colours, numbers, yeah.
Numbers, right, yeah.
Yeah, they always do different coloured
Just look
numbers.
at their
whatever
face.
the theme.
And the pace and pace.
If you're looking green or grey or...
If you ever see someone that's been
crying.
through the second night at Lakeland 100, they're not looking good,
They're
mate.
not looking good, no. I had a few people message me because they had the aid station cameras. That's like a new thing, isn't it, that they're
Yeah.
doing on open tracking. And then when I'd finished the next day, I had a few people message me saying, "Oh, I saw you crying at Tilbuth Way." I was like, "Oh, cheers, yeah, thanks for that, I know." But yeah, it's only 3 mile from end, but you've just got to go up over at last. So you think, oh, I'm nearly there.
And you've got one more
And
climb
you've
to
just
go.
got one more climb, yeah, and then you've got the descent.
They still put the little fairy lights up there.
Yeah, but I were there in light this time, so
great,
fairy lights weren't on. Maybe that's why I was crying.
Tough finish then, statistic, isn't it? That?
Yeah,
That's
it
awful,
is,
man.
because it's like 3 miles now, is it? But when you know you've got
Even
to go
the
up
last descent you come off, like, it's not technical, but it's quite steep, especially if your legs are gone in it, like the little zigzags down, and then you hit the same road that you went out on.
and you feel like you have to run.
Yeah,
'cause
not
you're
that
on
I've done it
road.
in the race, but I've done it plenty of times in recce's and taking people and stuff, and you just think, yeah, it's steep coming down, isn't it? So yeah.
Is the weather always pretty good, usually?
It was best it's been this year.
No,
Last
it's like
year it
mixing
chucked it down overnight, but it didn't rain this year. It was really humid, but I didn't put a jacket on overnight this
That
year.
must help, mustn't it? I mean, we've had some good weather, haven't we, recently?
Yeah,
Been
we
a
were
good
just saying
summer.
that on drive up, weren't we? That we've had some good weather.
Yeah.
So what did you finish in this time? I hijacked your talk this time.
25:53, I think.
And that's a PB.
Yeah. So last year I did 29:50. So we're going for 28 hours. I thought, like 2 hours off
Yeah.
this
well
year.
under now.
I know, and
Yeah.
then like 4 hours off. So
Yeah.
That's amazing. And too modest to not say that you were fourth as well, weren't
Fourth,
you?
yeah.
I mean, I'd be checked if anybody in front did get a lift at any point.
No,
You could
I
have
am
been third.
actually. No,
Worth checking, mate.
might be
You know, might get an upgrade.
suspicious. Yeah,
It's a bit harder on that
joking, I'm
course,
only
isn't
yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah.
I saw that Anna Llewellyn won.
Oh,
She won the
yes.
Felsman.
know.
She's incredible, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Earl the Felsman is a race that it's a linear route and it finishes at school just down here across the field. And she won the Felsman overall, men and women. It was a couple of months ago. So she's obviously like quality. And she's
Only in
done
the
some
last
amazing
6
stuff.
months I've started seeing her results and stuff, and I don't know her personally, and I don't think you do much.
No,
do you?
no,
But-
I don't know her. No,
but she's emerging
impressive.
as just under the radar, putting in some great results, isn't she?
I've started following runners now on Instagram,
Yeah.
which has never happened before. Until
That's the Mel effect,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Yeah,
It
it is,
genuinely is. But it's kind of good. I roped you into doing a talk, didn't I? A Q&A, and because I wanted to do more of those sort of things because she's
Yeah.
inspiring, especially to women as well. And it was good because one of the girls in the crowd put her hand up, asked a question. She was following her on the spine, and I think
Amazing.
that
Yeah, and this were charity like fundraiser thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I didn't think there'd be anyone there that were interested in running, and she'd followed race, hadn't she?
there was
So
a
that
few
were really
people
good.
that were really
Yeah.
interesting. So it's it's good that you see, like, obviously it's sort of sport that I'd not really considered before, but now I'm following people. We're going to Q&As and you're getting good questions from the crowd and stuff. It does feel like it's becoming more popular as well, and it's hard for me to visualize these races, but
Yeah.
again, you see what these people are doing, and it's incredible. And I think
And see the state they're in at the end.
that's what I was going to point out, because for me it's the dark parts of it that you take yourself to and get through the other side. That is incredible. And for me, I've been in little dark spots in games, and you can have a rest, so you just get subbed off. We'll have a rest. You don't get that. It's like,
No.
okay,
You do it at an aid station
yeah.
until they boot you out again.
Yeah, you have your little.
You also don't
sleep,
get
don't you?
10,000 people shouting, "Mel, you are shit!"
Maybe we need to bring that into trail running. Have like a little bit that you go through with like a massive crowd and just hurl abuse at people.
Yeah.
Keep them going.
What's the big race in Chamonix coming up?
UTMB, yeah.
Yeah, well, they have plenty of people out on the trail, and French, but they don't shout that.
They've got a section, Notre Dame de la Gorge, haven't they? And it's a bit like it's the closest thing to like Tour de France, because people are going through when it turns into the night, so it's dark, but everyone's dressed up, everyone's like drinking, and it's a party atmosphere. It
mental,
looks incredible. And then once you go through that, you're sort of into the night on your own, so it's like going from an unbelievable rave to just like an unbelievable low, like you're on a right come down after that. But yeah, it's very similar, but I think more people are encouraging that and like wanting to do well rather than telling you your shit.
The abuse is the funny side of it. I genuinely used to love it. We were talking about Wrexham before, sorry to sort of just jump in, but it just reminded me of the best chant I ever had against me was at Wrexham, and it was from some footballing protesters that started throwing the footballs onto the pitch because we were playing at Wrexham.
Course,
they didn't like it.
Yeah.
So the game sort of stopped while they cleared these footballs off the pitch, and they could hear just like really like faint, you're just a fat Robbie Savage. Genuinely,
Classic.
yeah, we're all looking around.
Who are they talking about?
What are they talking about here? I'm stood there on the middle of the pitch, and it just got louder. You're just a fat Robbie Savage, fat Robbie Savage. And everyone starts looking around at me, going, Earl, I think they're talking to you, mate. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, they are. And it just got louder and louder. But the problem I had, or not a problem as such, it's just kind of made my life. It made it interesting. It was on Sky. And it were broadcast live.
Brilliant.
So
Did that stick at other grounds?
Did it stick at other grounds? It stuck at my own grounds. So we had every other fan from that game for the rest of my career. Every single game I got was "You're just a fat Robbie Savage," all the way through, including my own fans. So you got like family, everybody.
If you come into the sport a bit later, you've got no clue why they're just shouting, apart from maybe the slight resemblance. Like, why is he being called?
But the best part was Robbie Savage himself tweeted me, "You're just a fat me, son." And genuinely, I went to Spotty. So Sports Personality of the Year awards with a few of the lads. I was in the England team at that time, and Robbie Savage walked in. He goes, and genuinely went, "Earl, can I have a photo?" Oh god! So anyway, I had a couple of photos. We met him at a couple of games and got on with him quite well. It was funny, but yeah, that stuck for the rest of my career. It's funny how things stick like that, but also I absolutely loved it. It brought me closer to the fans as well, having that sort of banter. But for me, that's what it's all about.
Is that the first time you've seen Gary since? Did you recognise his face? I
go to watch Wrexham, but I've not chucked any balls on. But yeah, like some of the, like Chris will say, like I take the kids, so you have to be a bit careful. But like football ground chants and stuff like that, that's one of my pleasures in life. Not doing it, just listening to what they do.
Yeah, whatever.
And the other way, like the away fans, they're a different breed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like away fans for anything. So I just love watching away fans. Yeah.
So we need to bring the chanting into running. That's the next phase, isn't it?
I think that's what we need to set up a station. We'll all go to UTS next year.
When Earl finishes his first race, he'll be like, "Oh, just finished. You've got us three going. You're just a fat Robbie Savage."
I've lost weight. Leave me alone.
Stick it on the t-shirt list, mate.
We'll put that on there. The first time, or one of the first times I raced in Italy, I was in this really prestigious relay, and I was going up this climb, and loads of people were, like, obviously at the side, just cheering people on, and they all just started shouting at me like, "Die, die, die!" And I'm thinking, this was just after Brexit as well. I was thinking, shit, these guys have not taken it well that we're out of the EU. But in Italian, it means like go, go, go faster. But I didn't know until like a month afterwards or something. And I just thought, I don't know if I can race in Italy again. They fucking hate me. But then I realised
foreign languages are not Ben's speciality. It's VAI. V-A-I. That's what they were saying. Vai.
No, Chris, it's die.
No, they do check. Yeah.
I promise you, die. Yeah. So yeah, that's my little. It wasn't abuse, but anyone as good as that story. We've got our Instagram short there, haven't we?
I've already made a note of that.
That was a classic. That's an absolute belter.
There's a lot more as well.
When you were at Lakeland this year, because it's obviously got a lot. I'm going back a few years since I took part, but like you say, participation's got bigger and bigger. Is it the same? Like, is the support on the course got bigger? Because it's always been well supported, definitely checkpoints and stuff, isn't it? It's like what it's not mainly famous for, but that's one of the big things, isn't it? Like the local running clubs or different running clubs will take over checkpoints and stuff. But I know last time I went to watch, it was just loads of people out in Ambleside specifically. But
yeah,
has
Ambleside, it got bigger? Normally Dale Main, but I was a bit too early.
Yeah, early in the morning.
A bit too early this year, because normally the coaches are arriving to drop the 50 runners off. So if you hit Dale Main at the right time, you've got all the runners. Yeah, so they're cheering you in, but there were nobody there when I went
all the
through.
Nervous farts that you got to run through. Saving up on the bus.
Chewing on them before going to aid station. But Ambleside's just brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's also a little bit weird because sometimes you've been on your own for like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 hours, and then you come into Ambleside and everybody, even people that are completely unaware that race is going on, they've just gone to Lakes for weekend, they're like cheering you through and shouting, and you go through the aid station and then through that park, and there's just people clapping all the way through. It's great, and then you're just off into nowhere again then, so it's like, and then quiet again.
Talk us through your race and how it went, because obviously you had I saw your video, you finishing, so we'll get to that point in a bit. But yeah, how did it go? So talk us like through briefly, like the also like your tactics as well, because obviously we're going for a time. So were you kind of running not just to feel, but were you're like, oh, I need to be at this place for this time, or no?
No, I never do that.
Full
the only
rod
thing
on.
I have on my watch, like the main watch face, is just distance. I never have time or heart rate or anything on, because I'm not right
Don't
good
wanna
with
scare
numbers.
yourself.
Well, I'm just not really good with numbers. So if I'm trying to like I need to be somewhere at a certain time, it just ends up like you just want to think about
It's like
the
me this
running.
morning.
We're not mentioning that, but
Just get there when you get there.
The battery died, that's what it was.
we don't have a start time in this after for the podcast. Starts when it starts.
But yeah, just so I just knew that I wanted to be at Dale Main. Obviously, that's at 60 Mile Point. I thought if I can get there sometime on the Saturday morning, like between 8 and 9-ish, something like that, then I'd be somewhere near. But that's the only time goal I had over the whole race, and then 28 hours for the finish.
Did you feel pretty good for the first part?
Oh, great. Yeah, I felt great until I had some stomach issues.
Till the world fell out of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, literally.
What was it, 2 years ago your brain was falling out, but everything was falling out
the other
out
end
your
this
arse?
time. Yeah. Oh God.
It's the fittest I've ever seen you. You trained hard for this one, didn't you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You
and obviously
lost quite a bit of weight as well. Not that you can lose
Cheers,
weight,
mate.
but you were pretty skinny. So
Now
that's
tell
why
her
I'm
she's
trying to
old.
feed her a pie. Right,
It's
we're
usually
off for
me.
food.
Just keep kicking me.
That's what I'm here for.
Oh, it's usually me getting abuse, actually. So
Phil
I'm
was
glad
there
about
just
it.
shouting, "You're just a thin Robbie Savage."
I'm only thinking a chance for her.
I like it, mate. I like it.
Some abuse.
So you obviously felt lighter. So you were climbing well as well, were you?
Yeah, we're going uphill well. Yeah, done a lot of training like in lakes and come up here to do 3 peaks and stuff. So, and obviously where we live, it's where I live.
Do you use
It's-
running poles?
Yes, use
Should it
poles,
really
yeah.
count, Gary? I'm only joking. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Don't hate me in the
Don't
comments.
set him off again.
I'm only taking the piss.
Do you think
Of course
sometimes
he
as
uses
well
poles.
it's more I find it with some of the people I coach as well, sometimes it's a confidence thing as well. Sometimes it's not just the training that you put in. You can put a training block together that's almost the same as last time, but it's almost like a confidence thing going into a race, especially if you've done it a few times and you're going in with a time, although you're not beholden to like timings. It's like, I'm confident I can get this time, so you feel more confident, so all of a sudden you're up on it, and it snowballs and keeps you going. Because it's quite easy when you're out there for 24 hours plus. If you're in a negative headspace, I always say to people, that will slow you down in itself, won't it? Feel sorry for yourself and that kind of thing. So just being positive and having more confidence in yourself.
Oh, that definitely helps. I think, yeah, and especially when you go overnight and then into the next morning as well. And if you can sort of keep, like, if you're just loving just racing and not focused on a time, I think that helps you have a good race sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't look at splits or times or anything, because it just stresses you out, doesn't it? I mean, some
Yeah.
people love alt stats and stuff, don't they? And they like to try and run and get to a certain point, but But
you also know, don't you? You know, if I'm in a good place, I know I'll do this section in roughly that amount of time, and I'll do that section in roughly that amount of time.
Yeah.
Unless something completely goes to shit, you're not going to be far off once you've been doing it a while, are you? So those times are like, yeah, they're realistic. But and then if you have a good day, happy days.
Are you sort of conscious of other women in the race as well? Are you racing other people? Or are you just doing your own thing? Like,
just doing my own thing, yeah. Because you never know with, like, especially over that sort of distance, there's no point thinking, obviously, like, how far you got when you did it and then dropped out. Anything can happen over that distance, so there's just no point focusing on it, is there? Because
there's been close finishes over the years, and there's like in the last 5 since Ambleside to the finish, not far at all really in distance, close racing where people have been overtaken and stuff. So you've just got to keep doing your own thing.
Yeah, in that last bit, and there were some people on the 100. Like, I had a good first half until my stomach went, and then a terrible, like, last 30 miles. But some people were coming past me that had a really bad first half, and then they're coming past in the final like 20 miles, so you just don't know how you're going to feel, do you? Because it's all fueling and
That's true.
everything like that. You
It's
just
like Mark Derbyshire at Trans Gran Canaria had a really bad start, didn't he? And then he came through, and actually had another few miles.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have put it past him to be even further up, would you? Because he was
No,
flying,
he would.
wasn't
He would have keep climbing. Yeah.
and it's like that with long races, isn't it? You go through bits where you think,
Peaks
oh,
and
this is
troughs.
like the worst thing ever. I'm never running again. This is shit. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, loving life again. 20 minutes later, you've had a gel or some tang fast sticks, and
Is that a secret?
yeah, that's right.
So you obviously had a bad stomach. What about miles 60? Did you say? Or
Well, it kind
Yeah.
of started just before halfway, and then sort of peaked around Kentmere.
Peak.
Is that,
Good way
is
of
that the
saying
word for it? Peaked? I don't know whatever the right word is.
is there still some police tape around there? Give me a
Yeah,
summit.
probably all
Crime
burns
scene.
have died off.
Environmental England are over there now, aren't they? Just trying to work out what's happened.
I think a lot of people were in the same boat this year, though.
Yeah. Because you had a bit of a theory on it, like maybe was it something to do with the water? Are we allowed to say that?
I don't know. I don't know. You're never going to be able to know, are you? But
No.
I just think that amount of people
Yeah.
to be poorly in a race must have been something
Yeah.
that's gone on. But
Yeah.
you're never going to know, are you? Because how can you narrow it down to
No,
anything?
true.
You can't, can you?
Blame the lakes.
Yeah.
Maybe a dead sheep in a stream, as I mentioned
Yeah, and
before,
then
and
they've
everyone's
built-
drinking from it. Yeah.
They got it out of Windermere. That's not too clean these days.
Bit
is
of
it?
algae. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of algae in it, yeah.
So I'm interested as well to know what you were eating during this ultra, and the reason I ask it is because I always assumed that people who did ultras, runners that did ultras, just ate normal food as much as you could kind of stomach, and you practice with what you can stomach throughout the course of the race. But it's becoming increasingly more, I say, popular now for people to try and race just on gels. Like I can't get my head around that. I don't know about you, Earl, but I was chatting to a guy last week who, if he's finished second at UTMB before, quite a number of years ago, a guy called Robert, and he just did it on gels, and he had 60 gels at UTMB
Oh
and
my
finished
God,
second.
it's
I mean,
good.
Didn't Andy Berry said the same, didn't
Andy
he?
Berry
He
said the
talked
same.
about it in his
I think
episode.
gels,
he just
really.
did gels. You just do gels
And
as
I'll
well,
pick
Greg.
a few bits off the checkpoints, but I'll only use gels up to about 20 hours.
Which blows my mind. I don't know about you.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'd be that way inclined.
Would you?
Gels and just
Really?
anything small. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't really sort of.
Stomach anything,
yeah, I can't.
yeah.
They're genuinely
Yeah.
like,
A
if
lot
I,
that
I
you've
don't
gotta-
eat
you've gotta
breakfast, you see,
think-
for that reason.
Because the sport's pushed on, yeah. Like, without like, just saying, like, painting everyone in the same picture. It's like, ultra running had an image of just like the old saying, it's just like a long walk, a picnic, a eating competition, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the people in the middle of the pack to the back of the pack, the intensity isn't as high, and they're walking lots of it. And yeah, you can essentially have a sandwich and stuff. As soon as that intensity level starts going up, like, you can't just be eating sandwiches. You won't digest it. You can't. So you need the gel. That's why gels are there. They've come from sport, other sports. You need the gels. You need it in your liquids, and then you can supplement it with real food, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
To be honest, but I would always go to gels first, and that's the difference between the people that are pushing towards the front end, but now it's filtering down all the way through, because you could be in the middle of the pack pushing yourself very hard, but you do have to do it, like men will tell you, in training. So it's your
Practice.
gut that needs training just as much, because
Yeah.
no one just wakes up one day and can hammer gels for 20 hours. Like, I spent the first couple of years doing the same as everyone, messing it up, getting it in and out both ends and all that kind of stuff. But you get to a point where you can train your gut to tolerate it at intensity.
Is it like doing shots in a pub? You just have to like get build up a
A little
tolerance?
bit.
Down.
Like, I always use this example with my lot. It's like, they say that they can't get so much carbohydrate in per hour and stuff like this, which I'm telling them they need to. It's not that they need to hit a certain number, but if you're on 10 grams an hour of carbohydrate in your race, let's try 20, then let's try 30. It's like dose response, right? So you're trying to up your ceiling, and then they'll say they can't do that, but then, like, on Boxing Day, they'll plough through 2,000 grams worth of carbs or something, yeah. But what's the difference there? They're just sat there, there's no intensity.
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't tolerate it, it's usually matching it with the intensity.
Yeah.
So then again, when you add in heat or altitude or whatever, or just stress in general, it becomes more difficult to tolerate. So you just have to practice, train a gut like a muscle, and then
Yeah, I find it.
you still shit yourself like Mel.
You can still do that, and then if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
I do find it really interesting, genuinely.
Yeah.
And was that your approach, Mel? Did you?
So I just use tailwind. So I'll just fuel on tailwind as much as possible until I feel hungry, and then I might just take like either a Mars bar or something from an aid station just to keep my stomach busy. But
nothing too heavy.
nothing too
Not like
heavy.
a
No,
Stamford's pie from Skipton or
oh,
anything
up
like
to
that.
50 mile, 60 mile. If it were an event, I'd just use tailwind and probably not eat any solid food. 100 mile, I used tailwind as much as I could. I had a bit of toast at Glencathra.
So like tailwind, in case people are listening, it's high carb mix. So it's just in a drink, isn't it? Essentially, but yeah, high carbohydrate mix.
Don't you think it's an unfortunate name, tailwind? I always whenever anyone mentions it, I always think of it as like backdraft from somebody who's just
Yeah.
So it's probably
choking on
fairly
Mel's
ironic.
tailwind.
Ironic for Mel, really,
That's them
let's be
ticked
honest.
off the sponsorship list then.
Yeah, sorry, tailwind. I'm sure it's a great product. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't had any problems with it. And it's not for everyone, is it? Like, everyone uses something different. People are saying certain gels. I did have some of the OTE, the super carb gels.
Yeah.
So I had 3 of those over the race as well. But apart from that, it was just tailwind and then little bits, and then it.
And I'm not
shot
saying
ball
that
custard.
everyone should just go to gels. Trust me. Yeah. Cause,
But there's probably more of a shift though now, isn't there? Because
I think
people
so.
are kind of understanding
Yeah.
that that's what you've explained there.
Yeah.
Is if you are going to be competitive at that level for that period of time and you're trying to win races, essentially.
and
that's
again,
the
you
way
can
to
put
do it.
everything into training, and then you don't pay any attention to that side of things. It's like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, whether you're in the middle of the pack or at the front of the pack. Everyone's out there to try and push themselves, but if you can't push yourself because you've been eating pork pies in a race instead of fueling yourself well, then you're going to have a problem, aren't you?
Yeah, which sounds a good idea to keep eating pork pies all the time, doesn't it? But then that
Yeah.
becomes a problem
Yeah.
at some point because
Yeah.
you just can't physically take that amount of food in and keep
Well,
moving
you've
at
got
the
to
same
think
time.
how hard you're asking your body to work, and
Yeah.
then you've got to think your gut is working extremely hard to try and get anything out of that real food that you're putting down. And like when you go out outside the UK and stuff, and you race, and it's like cured meats and cheeses and stuff like that, and it's great, but they're in small amounts and they're little and often, and they're getting, there's lots of dried fruit and all that kind of stuff, so the carbs are there, and like you say, the fats and the proteins are almost there to satiate you, because there's nothing worse than having that hunger feeling on a run.
Yeah.
But like I've said before, I used to carry a block of Parmesan with me. It's like, sounds like middle class, but because it just stays.
never know.
Yeah. Well, just or Baby Bell if I'm
great
trying
cheese.
Baby Bell if I'm staying relatable. Like, but it's like because obviously it's not going to change consistency, and it just satiates you a bit, and it's salty, fatty. It's not really there for my fuel. It's just it's again to then
Keep your
combat
stomach busy.
and to combat that flavour fatigue that you'll get from gels. Some people get that really bad, so
I mean,
it's a constant learning process for yourself more than
It's
anything.
been in rugby league for forever as
Exactly,
gels. It's funny
yeah.
how like you're speaking about it. Like
I know,
for
it
a lot
sounds-
of people, it's unknown. Almost.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
we've always
yeah.
used it and wouldn't dare eat anything because I would throw that
Yeah,
back up. Like you say, it's the
exactly.
intensity level.
Think of the intensity level of a rugby league or
You won't even
most
consider
sports.
it.
Yeah.
So I
like why
get
did
what
they
you're
come
saying
in?
about
And
that.
it's again most comes out of cycling as well, like cycling and gels and stuff like that. So it's a sports science thing, but then obviously it's then a commercial thing. But sometimes people think it's almost like a fad. It's like it's not fad. It's like
It's
Scientific
like
needed,
you
isn't it?
said. When was the first time you had a gel or something or like a carb mix in rugby? 30 years ago plus,
Yeah,
easy.
genuinely, that we knew exactly what we had to drink before a game, how
Yeah.
much we had to drink, carbs, and then I won't lie, I took quite a bit of caffeine, but that's more because, you have to mentally get yourself like quite like energetic
Yeah.
because it's
Plus, you
really
can do that
intense
for an hour and a half.
instantly.
Have the
Yeah.
caffeine, like you say.
And you just top yourself up with gels. Because I'd only do stints,
Yeah.
and sometimes sometimes I play a lot longer as well. Played up to 80 minutes. I've actually played as a prop forward for 80 minutes, which is a long time in a sport like that at that intensity level. So you just had to keep topping
Yeah.
up before
Smashing
you
sugar in.
before you even know about it. It's just no, you need to keep
Yeah.
on top of it.
it's not until you need it. You need to just, like you said, keep on
We
top
used
of
to
it.
say if you're thirsty, it's too late.
Yeah.
That's, as soon as you start to feel them cravings and needing something, it's too late.
Yeah.
So you had to keep on top of it. And I can only imagine, and I can't really relate to the distances that you do, but as soon as you start feeling, you're in trouble, or you're a start.
But in train, I know we're going a bit off track, but in training as well, I know, and I get that there's a bit of a barrier in terms of it might not be the cheapest way of kind of fueling yourself, but at the same time, you know what you're putting in with the gel, and like science has moved on, but it hasn't moved on in some ways. Like you say, Earl's using it however many years ago, cyclists, runners been always using it. But for recovery wise, we just know how important carbohydrate is as well. I know protein is important and stuff, but fueling yourself well today, you're thinking about tomorrow and the next day in your training. That's what it is.
And I think that's the thing with the long distance races as well. You've done most of the fueling in the weeks leading up to it as well, haven't you? So if you're going into it already fueled, you can get by for X amount of time on tailwind and stuff like that, and then just having a few sweets or something if you start feeling hungry. But that's there's some at these aid stations at Lakeland and a lot of them, there's full on wedding buffet.
There's almost too much choice.
And I think this is why I asked originally, because that's when I think about ultra running, I just think about these big spreads, these smorgasbords of food. And when I'm
when
not
you turned up to me in Gran Canaria, it was he turned up with his carrier bag. I'd been going 24 hours, a carrier bag of crisps and food. And I was like, this is the last thing. I only wanted one thing. And that was a San Pellegrino.
That programme on telly, I think Ainsley Harriott was on it, and it was can't cook, won't cook, and they used to empty a carrier bag, and it'd just be random shit, and then the chefs would have to make a meal out of it. It was pretty much that.
Ready, steady, cook.
Yeah, that was what it was.
Well, I'm not saying no. It might have been.
Gonna say, don't start bringing MasterChef up.
But I remember, and
spot the runner that's never ran for more than half an hour in his races.
And this is it.
Can't get him out on a long run, can we?
I remember, reading Dean Karnazes' book years ago, and the opening chapter is him. He's running through the night, and in the middle of America somewhere on a highway, and he phones up a pizza place and says, "Meet me at this junction." And this guy's there waiting with a box of with a pizza in, and he balances this pizza box on his forearm and just keeps running and eats it. And I thought, fucking hell, ultra running sounds amazing. And then I go and do stuff like Hebden 22, which I know you've done before, which is one of, if not the best races in the Calder Valley. And it's a long distance walking event, LDWA. And when you get to checkpoints, I'm not joking, you've never seen spreads like it.
Yeah.
There's sandwiches, there's
especially
little
that
bits of
third
pizza.
one where you go into Barn, and they've got everything laid out in there, haven't they?
Randomly, I was in Spain a couple of years ago, and I met the people who own that barn.
Oh,
unbelievably,
really?
yeah. So it's like a garage, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you go in, it's just the sandwiches everywhere.
Full
so
on buffet.
whenever I've done the race, and I've still got the record on it now, so I've obviously done all right.
Drop that in.
But the reason I mentioned it, yeah, sorry, you catch that, Gary. But the reason I mention it is because I went in there and I had 4 sandwiches on the climb up to Studley Pike. I mean, what other kind of race can you have what did they have? It was beef dripping sandwich.
Yeah, I was going to say it's dripping, normally dripping butties in
so
there.
So that was the reason why I had it. But I mean, I felt all right afterwards, and I was still running and eating. But I suppose I'm not doing an ultra, am I? But I just had this association with ultra running and normal food. But that's good that we're talking about it, because you guys are obviously you understand.
Yeah,
more than me
I'm
about that.
Yeah, I come from it almost like a performance point of view, and it's performance whether you, like I said, back, middle, or front of the pack. It's my job to make people better. That's all I've tried to do with my own running as well. So I get that some people will just want to go out, enjoy their day,
it's just about completing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and that's completely fine as well. Keep the intensity a bit lower, be out for a little bit longer, enjoy the checkpoints a bit more. Yeah, that's I'm not really putting them in the same category. Yeah, but if you're looking for performance, at some point you've got to move away from beef dripping and pork pies at checkpoints. Which sounds crazy to say, but like you say, that's the impression that a lot of people have.
It sounds shit, but I trust your expert judgment, Gary.
I went on a run. Just remind me, sorry again, jumping in now. I went on a run. It was only a 5k, and the reason I wanted to do this 5k is I wanted to just pick up a bit of pace. And I went out with a mate of mine. I said, right, we're going to try and pick it up a little bit. So I'm trying to get him a little bit fitter. And he said, yeah, I'm really keen. Okay, let's do it. So we met up, and he goes, because I've just smashed a big bowl of muesli. We lasted 1K and he had to pull up to the side to be sick. I was absolutely spewing with him. I was so pissed off. I told you what we're doing, so why have you gone and eaten a massive bowl of muesli? Because I need to fuel up. I'm like, you're a dickhead. And it annoyed me because I'd not eaten. We're only doing 5K. What did you think was going to happen? You were gonna
I took one of my mates out last year, and it was when I was just getting back into the bit of running, and met him on the hills. He's been out a few times, but like this particular time, said, "Have you eaten anything?" Because I remember the time before he didn't eat anything at all, and he was flagging. He's like, yeah, I've had 6 bananas. 6 bananas. I said, what, this morning? And he said, yeah, that was all we had in, really, so I just had the 6. So, right, okay, so you can imagine how that went down. Within 10 minutes of leaving the car, it was a similar thing, but a different end.
Was it Gilly?
What? No, it wasn't Gilly, no. He gets sent enough free shit, probably, not to eat bananas.
So somebody gave me a great tip the other day. Because when you take gels, you get all this sticky gel over your hand, don't you, off the wrapper, and it's annoying, isn't it? It's just on your
I'm
hands
really
all the
interested on who's given him this tip.
No, it was a genuine ultra runner because I was on that. I was
Goes
out
in
with
your mouth, mate.
Yeah. Honestly,
swallow, don't spit.
I told you this podcast is going in a direction earlier.
There's a reason why it's called RUNcensored.
But the tip was, like your soft flasks, and you'd fill them up with water or you'd fill them up with ice tonic. Just fill one of those up with a load of gels. If you're going to have a load of gels, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. Good tip, that, right? There you go.
It is, but again, I was in triathlon 15 years ago, and that's what the lads would do. Just all the gels would be in one bottle.
Yeah.
And the other one would be like water or flavoured water. So all their gel mix was in the bottle, and they'd be sipping on gel.
And it doesn't go all over your hands then, and you don't have to carry like loads.
Yeah. You have to remember like that bottle later on, like when you're washing it out and stuff. Like.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a nightmare with gels at Gran Canaria 2 years ago. My pack was a little bit loose, and I'd got 3 Morton gels in the top pocket there, and we set off, and they just fell straight out. Mate,
That must have been about 40 quid.
that's exactly my first thought, Mel.
Yeah,
They're particularly bad as well.
$4.50 a gel.
How much?
And I dropped 3. And if I'd have stopped, I'd have just got trampled. But I almost considered just stopping.
I would have done.
I was working
no
out
way
how much
Ben
money I'd
paid for
lost.
them.
I was
No way
absolutely
about
devastated. It took me about
he
9
didn't
miles to
pay,
get
otherwise
over
he
that.
didn't stop.
He was like, yeah. It's like,
Yeah, you're right.
it's like asking the Queen how
still,
much
it was
is a
a
pint
value.
of milk.
I just couldn't
king
get
now.
over it.
Yeah.
What was the advice on portion control, though, when you put it in one bottle?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It sounds like you can just have as much as you fucking want, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, some of them now, they get like the precision nutrition or whatever. They're 90 gram of carbs in one gel, like big gel and stuff.
What is it generally, Gary, that you should be having in per hour? How much? Is it like a rough amount, or is it depend on the intensity?
I say it varies. The advice used to be like 60 grams of carbs per hour if you're racing.
Yeah.
Over an hour's worth of racing, probably. It's really simplifying it. It's moved on now to, like we've heard, people hitting 120 grams of carbs per hour in their races. I'm not saying everyone has to be that. Everyone's different.
Is that where you training with that kind of thing helps because you can kind of find your level? And
Yeah,
what
a
you
little
need?
bit, and it's a bit like I touched on it. I like the way I like to see it. It's just like what we do know is because it's going up and up. It used to be at 60 because you there was only like one source of carb. As soon as they realised if you dual it, as in like if you put glucose and fructose, the transporters, you can up it to 80 to 100, right?
Yeah.
Again, that's really oversimplifying it. But so that's why, again, like cyclists were mainly pushing, and that's where the science comes from, is pushing these boundaries, 120, sometimes more grams of carb per hour. Now, if you're just a runner out there doing ultras, for example, or 2 hours, 3 hours, you don't need to be at that usually. But you can have a dose response. So like I say, if you're at 30, 40 grams of carbs per hour, it's worthwhile seeing if you can tolerate 50, 60 and see how you feel. Then go to 70 and 80. Like, there's not many people. There's some people I coach that are really good level runners that are doing 100 grams of carbs an hour. Some of them are doing 60 grams of carbs an hour. Quite similar standards. So
Just depends on you then.
a little bit, yeah. But just push yourself a little bit and stick to a brand for a while and see. Because sometimes it's a texture or a taste or just your gut doesn't handle it, and then they bin the idea of it because I felt a bit nauseous at 60 grams of carbs an hour. But someone like
Well,
Mel
that
will
could
probably
be out
say
as well, couldn't it? In a race,
exactly,
you can
just
feel
stick
sick.
with it,
Yeah.
and then at some point you'll probably push through a ceiling of, oh, okay, now I can tolerate it again. I felt it a bit coming, having that year out and like not doing gels, and then coming back, I'm like, oh, I feel a bit nauseous after just a small amount. But then you just, your gut trains itself.
What do you normally sort of aim for as a rough guide? I know you've told me before you don't sweat either, do you? So
I'm at the higher end. I like to before I got that injury and I was pushing myself, I was easily doing 100 grams of carbs an hour. Yeah, but I'd come from a coaching group that were all pushing themselves and like coached by the same person. I know like Beth Pascal was doing 120 grams an hour 5 years ago. Yeah, so it's not new. Yeah, and it's not.
Would size and weight make a difference?
Yeah,
to that
I
sort
think
of
it
stuff
does.
as well?
Yeah, and male and female, we don't
Yeah.
know enough about female nutrition really for me to say that. But again, if you can, as long as you're pushing your own ceiling a bit, like you say, if me and Earl are at the same intensity, he's probably going to need to fuel himself a bit more. Yeah.
And that's why it's important to find your level.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone's like, if you're a high level marathon runner, then your running efficiency is really good. Like Ben's running efficiency is probably really good, yeah, just because of the level of runner you are. So you're burning your energy, for want of a better word, more efficiently as well. So it all comes into play. So it's not, you can't really compare yourself to all 5 of us in this room would have a different ceiling of what we're capable of. So it's not. That's why it's quite difficult. The easiest answer for me to give is just dose response it. So 30, try 40, try 50, try 60. It doesn't matter where you're at, because you'll get to a ceiling of either you can't push past or you can't afford the gels. One or the other.
Shit yourself.
Or shit yourself, yeah. But don't let that be a barrier either, because sometimes you shit yourself because it's not because of the gels, it's because of stress or because of the other
All the
stuff.
humidity as well. I think
Humidity and all kind of
that-
things are playing a part. People are quite quick to jump onto the gels because that's usually the thing that they've neglected in training. Again, linking it back to someone like Earl, who's gone through elite level sport. Like when it's all just like you say, it's all set out for them. They just do it, yeah. So it's not like an afterthought. It's like, this is part of my training. This is part of my sport.
It becomes routine. That's kind
It's
of
routine,
that's how you,
yeah.
what you
And
live
don't
by
get
as
me
well.
wrong. I'm like I class myself as an ultra runner, and because you get to a certain level of running, and Mel will probably say this as well, you can go out for a 3 or 4 hour run without any water or gels, and
Just a flask of Vimto.
yeah,
That's
or
what
just
I
a bit of
take for that.
water, and you'd be fine. Yeah. But you could also fuel yourself at 100 grams of carbs per hour for those 4 hours. So you're taking on 400 grams of carbs, yeah, which is what, 1,600 calories or whatever. It's a big difference, right? Yeah, not just in that training session, but the day after and the day after. So yeah, it's a big
I'd say your nerves play a lot
100%. Yeah,
with when you're in competition, and I felt
Yeah.
it myself. And
If-
training's different. You're just running out. You don't have a care in the world. You're going out to
Yeah.
enjoy yourself to a certain degree, but then you put a lot of pressure on yourself, your nervous system going into
Like when
a sport environment like that.
people say they get the shits or whatever from the gels, a lot of it I think is nerves, anxiety, or
Yep.
just excitement as well. It's all the same physical feeling. Yeah, it's a different physical reaction than you're used to in training. Yeah, I still get, if I'm going to a race, I'm one of the most relaxed people about the actual race, about putting pressure on myself. But I get that same physical emotion. So maybe it's excitement, maybe it's just the thought of going to the race. It's like, so you need to have your little black coffee, clear the pipes out, and it's like you just go through your routine, and then I can fuel myself, and I know I'll be all right. Yeah.
Earl, I'm interested. Like, obviously, the gels is not a new thing for rugby league, and you've always been taking them for a while. But what would your typical diet be on like a game day? Would it be the same for everybody on the team? Would you be told like what to eat, when to eat, or was it very much like you practiced that yourself and you were just used to your own body?
Find your own way. Genuinely, I used to eat certain things, and typically being a rugby player, I was kind of superstitious in a lot of ways as well. If I had a good game, I try and stick to the same routine as much as I possibly could. It wouldn't affect me if I didn't, but at the same time, I always wanted to make sure that I stuck to it if I played well. Diet wise, depends when you're playing, what time you're kicking off, everything. It's
Would you leave it roughly like 2 hours before? Is that because that's the general kind of like, it's like a 60 gram of carbs an hour, and it's like the general rule, isn't it? But it obviously is different for different people.
We used to turn up before a game about an hour and a half before, an hour and 45, so I wouldn't have eaten anything. And from before that point, I just wouldn't have done. I needed it to digest. Very much lightweight sort of stuff. In the morning, you could have a little bit more, but I just tried to stay away from anything that I thought would be
Too heavy.
Yeah, too heavy. As much so it'd be very light, and it might even just be a bit of toast with banana and porridge
it's like
in the
a
morning
race,
and stuff.
right? You're fueling yourself that week leading up to it. You don't wake up and go, right, I need to fucking
Cram it
pile
all
on
in.
money,
Yeah.
pile in the calories. It's like, even if you think about it logically, it doesn't really make sense. We've all overeaten and then feel how you feel after it. So if you're going to try and do your best in the sport,
And I'm guessing as well, like that's one of the areas where the game's moved on, because there's obviously more thought behind it, more science behind it, and I suppose even from like the team level and the experts around you, they're probably educating you as well, aren't they? From in telling you what's good to eat and what's not good to eat, and what you should be doing in the days prior as well.
Yeah, definitely. You get told what is good to eat, but it's not for everyone. Everyone's totally different, and it's all right. Obviously, you can have these nutritionists, which are great, but you have to have an understanding of the individual. Because for me, I mean, like typically years ago, it's have a bucket of pasta before the game. But then later on, you realise that you're actually got an intolerance to gluten, and you're like, right, so what? This is why
half the people you give that to are falling asleep afterwards.
That's the issue I had.
Yeah.
So I was better. I trained better of just eating bacon, eggs, just like high protein, low carbs. It was great for my recovery, so muscle wise, because I had to be big and I had to be very strong. That was my armour to protect myself. The other side of it is obviously I just trained as hard as I could to get as fit as I could. But for me, going off protein and fats was just all I felt a million times better.
Yeah.
But give me pasta, man, I'll be falling asleep in the corner. A lot of the time, that's why I used to dose up on. So I used to smash caffeine just to get me out of that sort of dip. But I didn't understand myself at that point, and you have people advising you in not a negative way. They were right in what they were saying, but it didn't suit me. So I believe you've got to understand yourself.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because obviously you've got to make the mistakes and try things to understand yourself. But did you ever do, or was it compulsory that you did like an intolerance test on certain foods or not? Or is that something that's come in now? I'm just interested to know whether that's, because it is good to know if you're gluten
I used to
intolerant,
tell people, I'm going back 10 years, and it's a bit like Earl saying, it's a real kind of like blunt way of doing it is just go out for your runs, but fuel yourself on porridge for a few days, like 3 to 5 days. See how you feel, stick with it, and then just fuel yourself on like eggs and bacon and stuff like that.
So you're almost doing the test yourself, are you?
Yeah, just and that'll at a very basic level, that'll kind of give you an indication. Everyone knows, right? If you have a big bowl of porridge, you're full of energy, or you're like a bit sleepy for a bit, and then you've got your daily energy. Or like say, I've got some friends that they'll have a fry up before an ultra marathon, and people might think that's crazy, but like Earl said, it's like they'll still fuel themselves on the gels and stuff when they need the intensity, but for general life they do better off that. But
do you ever do like tests like within the rugby world, or is it like, because you see it on the internet now, send your bloods off and you can find out what you're allergic to and all this sort of stuff? I've never done it, by the way, but is that like, is there more science behind it rather than just relying on the individual to do these kind of like test and trial stuff?
Well, bearing in mind I retired sort of 9 years ago, and this was all sort of starting to come in. These options to do that sort of thing, but I just did it myself. Pretty much exactly what you've just said there. I worked it out, and it was from generally I got in the best shape of my life eating fry-ups. And honestly, I knew exactly what I was having every single day, but avoiding bread. I just stayed well away, and I got in ridiculously good shape for me. Started playing for England, so I managed to represent my country, and I'd never been happier. And then obviously you look at the other side of things when you weren't playing at your best and you were eating all the wrong things. And I'm not saying it would change your game altogether, but if you're consistent with it, it can't help but make you just improve. You will
it's
just
how
improve.
you feel as well, though, isn't it? Like you were saying before, Gary, about going into a race with like a better mindset if you feel more confident. And if you've been eating right stuff, you feel better that way.
Especially
anyway,
in your
don't you?
game, like you going out there with a negative mindset, not feeling good about yourself,
Yeah.
like even having stomach issues and feeling. How the heck do you do 100 miles like that?
Yeah.
But you're going to go into a negative mindset at some point anyway, and you've got to drag yourself out of it. So to go in, I just wouldn't know how you do it.
When you're bringing it back to that Lakeland 100, so when you've had stomach issues and stuff like that, how do you deal with after you've had stomach issues? Because I always think that's an important tool for people to have as well, because obviously a lot of people will have a nutrition plan and stuff like this, and that never goes to plan.
No.
So when you've had let's call it an episode of like
Hours and hours of
yeah, when you've just not been able to fuel yourself, or you've been feeling sick, or whatever it is, and then you kind of have you got a plan to get yourself out of it, or do you just mentally stick yourself through with it?
I don't know, it's weird because like I was saying before, you get to like I still had 20 mile to go, but in my head I was thinking, oh, there's only 20 mile to go. But when you're moving at such a slow
be a long
pace and you're
20
that far
miles.
into a race, that 20 mile were, I don't know what it was, 6 hours, something like
Yeah.
that. So you just think, oh, it's only 20 mile, I can just keep going. So I was just sipping Coke. And then I got to Chapel Style aid station, which is the second one before the end. And they gave me just a bowl of custard and I just lobbed it down because I couldn't bother to get my little spoon thing out of back.
Yeah.
So they were laughing. One of the girls who does volunteers, I think Other Half runs for Calder Valley, Kim Ashworth.
Yeah.
She was at Chapel Style checkpoint and she were laughing because I just chucked a bowl of custard down and then that was just it then till finish. So just completely, obviously seen that finish video, completely zombied by then, like properly.
Glad to finish in the end.
Yeah. But then I sat down, Ali brought me a cup of tea, John brought me a pizza, and then within like half an hour
You're
I'd
up
just
again,
come round
yeah.
again, yeah. But
Yeah, we can laugh and joke about it, but the amount of times you see people have binned the race because of a stomach issue, from the front of a race to the back of a race, people bin it off as soon as the first sign of trouble with their stomachs and stuff. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, whatever decision people make, but I do think sometimes if your goal is to finish a race, like Mel's had a tough time of it there for probably a good number of hours, but still come away with an amazing performance and run, just because mentally she stuck it out, basically. Isn't it?
Yeah. And a lot of people did drop out. I think there were 300 and odd DNFs in it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of them were
Not every one of
stomach
those
problems.
is a broken ankle, is it?
No, a lot of them are with like stomach problems or being
Yeah.
sick. But it's like, where do you? Depends what you're there for. If you're just enjoying it anyway, even though you're shitting, like you just want to be there and that's what you like doing, then you just keep going, don't you?
Yeah.
If you've got a really strict time goal and you know that having a stomach issue is gonna like scupper your plans, you might just think, oh well, what's the point in finishing, which a lot of people do, which is a shame, innit? Because you've trained for it. Like you can walk it to finish within cut off. Like, do you want to finish and get your medal and do it anyway, or do you want to just drop out? I don't know.
How many finishes have you got there now? Is that
2?
two? Oh,
Yeah,
two,
the 100. Yeah, last year were 29.50, and then obviously this year.
Did you run with our friend Matt at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
He wasn't far
no,
behind
he
you,
were.
was he?
So there were me, Matt, and another lad called Matt Dunn, who's done a couple of spine races. Us three were together a bit, and then when they realised I were having stomach problems, they were like, "See you, love."
Don't want to choke on your tailwind.
yeah, they left me in a bit of a state just coming out of Kentmere. And then when I turned up at Ambleside checkpoint, there were Eddie Sutton and Debbie Consani there, and I come running into the checkpoint, and I went, "Oh, Eddie, you all right?" And she went, "Matt Neil says you've got the shits." And I was like, "Oh, cheers, yeah." So he'd come through like 15 minutes before and told everyone at checkpoint. So I was like, "Yeah, I have. Great." Thanks for that.
Did you know anybody else running, Gary?
So just a couple of people I coach were doing it. No, outside I saw Mel's result, and then I didn't really keep up with it that much, if I'm honest. And like I say, I only I obviously saw Damo run a good time and everything, but and Anna's I did check in actually, and Anna at the time was pushing Ryan Dame. I don't
It
know if
looked
she's
like a good
pushing, but she
battle, didn't it?
wasn't far
Yeah.
behind on the tracker, to be honest. And
Yeah, I think Damien said he ran with her overnight the first night, and he said he was thinking, oh, she's
exactly,
like, you
yeah.
know.
It's really impressive, and
Yeah.
and like Rye's, I know Rye really well, and he's a great runner when he's not having the shits. He's
Did he have him as well then?
I haven't spoke to him since, but if he won't mind me saying, he's an amazing runner, but he quite often is having the shits during races. He's just one of these people that I think he's quite nervous and anxious about races and ties himself in knots. So,
right, so that might be from nerves.
Oh yeah, I've seen him
Why do we do
leading
this to
races
ourselves?
and then squatting inwards and just needing shits all the time. I've just never known anything like it.
If
Sometimes.
anyone's listening to this that ain't a runner, they'll be like, this just sounds
No,
like the
we'll
worst
sit
hobby
there.
I know
ever.
what you think I'm sat here thinking.
What I always,
So
He's
basically,
that
I'm
way.
going to
do
shit
you know what I always
myself.
wonder when I'm watching football, or especially like it's the same in rugby league or union or whatever. It's like runners can't seem to go 10 minutes without either needing a shit or talking about shits. But like you don't watch them on Sky and then just running off every 20 minutes. So have you ever had like a turtle head on the pitch?
I'll be honest with you, not me personally at all.
No.
I've never had an issue with that, but we had different players that had different issues.
Yeah.
And you'd have one.
Straight
that-
in at half time.
You used to get really nervous. We had a couple that were really nervous. So you had chuckers basically. So you'd have lads that were that nervous before the game. They'd just be in the toilet throwing up.
Yeah.
That nervous, genuinely.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like
I
anxiety
can
that we're
believe
talking
that.
about.
That's like I mean, I might be right. He won't mind me, but yeah, he can get quite nervous and stuff,
Yeah.
and he's a high level runner and stuff. So maybe I'll get him on to chat about it.
I had
Yeah,
to see like doctors and stuff like that to just try and stem it.
Yeah.
Never could, and just ended up accepting. He was an international as well, so he used to playing that highest level. Then we had another lad that
Chuckers.
before the
Yeah.
end of the warm up, he had to sprint in for a shit. That every single game, and it became a
thing.
habit, a routine.
He wasn't
Trying
a
to-
chucker as well,
No,
was
he
he?
wasn't, yeah. Nobody knows because you're in toilets before anyone.
All across the walls when you come back in.
I mean, it's much easier if you're running because you nip behind a tree or a bush and you're sort of on your own most of the time. But when all eyes are on you in a stadium, you
Oh,
probably have to
God.
get sent
Yeah,
off, wouldn't you? You'd have to punch somebody or put a high tackle in and get sent off so you could go to the toilet.
Yeah, well, you'd be subbing yourself.
Yeah,
off.
yeah, feigning an injury.
What would you do for that?
Yeah, is there a code for Turtle's Head?
Hand signal.
Yeah. I'm going to look out for it if there is next time I watch some rugby.
What would you do if you were in the middle of a game, though? Can you sub yourself off?
Not really, but
Take a yellow
you
card.
could do. You'd
Just have to do a polar rifle and go, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I have seen lads that need to go for a wee in a game, and basically we just like if
Tactical
it
stretch.
stopped, lads would be just like surrounded. They just like do like a bit of a stretch and.
Slop it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just you have to be very careful. But obviously, when you it's TV cameras, you can't do anything remotely like that anymore. So
God, the world's gone mad, hasn't it? You
I
can't even have
wouldn't
a
really.
piss in front of thousands of kids these days.
Shit behind posts.
It's gone.
That's the thing I'm thinking, though, like, you know, when you did South Downs, like the live coverage of a race.
Yeah.
If you're in a race that's... Because a lot of them are... Like, they're trying to get them live streamed now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because people want to watch them and want to follow them. But that would have been terrible at Lakeland.
They do it. It's, like I love the cycling and everything. I watch the cycling. So Tour de France, it's obviously the coverage is the highest level you can get, and there's always like the motorbike following. But there was one this year where it must have been the new guy or something. But they always have these piss breaks. Yeah, so it's like where the peloton will almost make a decision to slow down enough so that everyone that needs it take a piss. So there's one of these, and the motorbike guy just followed the guy. Like, I can't remember which cyclist it was. Literally on him while he's. Oh no, he's not. There's nothing wrong with his bike. He's just got his cock out basically.
I'm sure I saw a viral video of that this weekend.
Was
Like,
it?
A load of people just lined up. I felt it just having a piss.
Yeah, maybe.
Basically.
Yeah. So it's a sight to see. Like, you just see, because they're all in their cleats and everything.
Tapping away.
Yeah. Whereas you don't see it later on, because obviously it's just full gas to the finish, and it's like they're not stopping. But yeah, earlier on in the day, they have to have a few breaks. Yeah, don't know how we got there.
They're a neutralised zone, don't they?
Yeah.
Where they're just
yeah.
not racing for a bit, and it's just almost like a gentleman's agreement, I guess.
Yeah,
isn't it,
well,
whatever you call it.
neutralises when it's at the start, the first couple of kilometres, isn't it? But yeah, they have like people in the peloton that'll put their hands up, and it's like, right, we're stopping for piss. Yeah.
Speaking of that, we're getting to the point where me and you
Ben's
probably
piss
need to go
clock.
for a piss. Yeah. That's usually how we judge the length of an episode. Lil, to be honest, it's whichever person in the. Gary needs a piss first. To be honest,
Yeah.
but
And if you need a shit,
yeah.
you've gone far too far.
we need a signal for that as well, don't we? Actually, yeah. Before we do wrap it up. Massive well done, Mel, for
Thank
new
you.
PB on the Lakeland. Maybe we'll bring Earl next year and we can get him on his debut 50, or at least come and
I
watch.
think
We'll
it'd
do
be
what we
good to
said,
do that.
Earl. That'd be great. Also, I'm gonna have to shout out to a couple of people who I know did the Lakeland 100. First one is Tim Ingram, because I know he listens to this, and he lost his mum and his sister within 100 days, and he did the Lakeland for them, raised a lot of money for charity. So Tim, big shout out to you, mate.
Well done, Tim.
You're well done, Tim. And my mate Frank Fulcher, who did the 50 again. He beasted it, so well done, big Frank. And then Earl, I've got to talk about this before we go, and you must get this a lot, but
You're such a fanboy sometimes.
Still got it.
yeah, still there. Still, always, mate, always.
You're just a fat hoe.
But I'm from Halifax. We've all grown up really close. When I was younger, used to get the same Christmas presents every year, and one of them was the Big Daddy annual, mate. Now, Big Daddy, Shirley Crabtree,
Yep.
your uncle?
Uncle, correct.
Mate, what a legend he was. So anybody who is not familiar with Big Daddy, wrestler in the 80s, big nemesis was Giant Haystacks, wasn't he?
Correct.
Yeah, and you grew up with him as a bit of an idol, I'm sure, didn't you? Because I did. I used to have the annual every year. He was probably the most famous man in Halifax.
He was probably the most famous man in the country at that point.
Yeah,
Bearing
bet
in
he
mind,
was.
there was less TV channels. Football wasn't as popular as what it is now. They used to get about 10 million people watching a week, and on ITV World of Sport every Saturday afternoon with Dickie Davis. I remember all this because people have told me. And Kendo Nagasaki with the mask he masked him and all that sort of stuff.
Remember it, Gary,
And, so very, very lucky that I had him as kind of an idol to a certain degree, but he was
And the
obviously
jeans.
well, the jeans player. He was a big boy, but he was a bit more wider than me. But a lot of family history there, and very, very proud of that. But I also like to talk about sort of his dad. So he was more of an idol in a different way to me, simply because he was a rugby player. So Shirley Crabtree Senior, which was Big Daddy's dad, Shirley Crabtree Junior was Big Daddy. Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
He was a rugby league player.
Yeah.
And he played for Halifax, ironically,
way.
and he won the Challenge Cup final in 1931 at Wembley.
Say how long have we
versus
gone
York.
back?
Yeah,
Is
so
there any footage of
1930s.
it?
No, I don't think. Well, not that I'm
No,
aware of,
no.
but I have a program from that game,
Yeah.
and his face is in there. But I actually have his winners medal, so I'm very lucky.
wow,
I've got 3 Challenge Cup final medals.
Amazing.
I've got 2 losers
Yeah.
and 1 winners. Unfortunately, the winners was my granddad's. So, but very, very, very proud.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm very lucky to have 2 heroes. I never met him. He passed away a long time ago. But obviously met Shirley on a number of occasions. Very proud to have that sort of Crabtree family legacy. And I was happy to sort of be a part of that legacy as well, creating my own way. Obviously, I had that stigma attached to me being a
Robbie Savage.
yeah, in fact, Robbie Savage. Disappointed, Shirley. But even the easy chants and stuff like that, and just look
Did he
back
do
on that
anything
fondness.
outside of being Big Daddy? I know he must have, but as in because a lot of the time they came from a powerlifting or something like that. Was he?
He played rugby.
Yeah,
He was in the
rugby.
Coldstream Guards, but then obviously became well known. But it was my family that ran it. So my uncles ran British wrestling. So
Oh,
Max
okay,
and Brian, respectively, referee and promoter, they ran the whole of British wrestling at that point. And obviously they made Big Daddy Shirley the superstar, which you would do. And obviously they're very successful. They're very smart as well. I'd like to sort of just point out they were ahead of the game in the way that they actually promoted British wrestling.
Yeah.
Very smart. So the first fight would be a technical fight, just 2 very technical fighters. It'd be half an hour long as people are starting to come in.
Okay.
And then the second fight was a really quick big guys fight, bashing 10 bells out of each other, and then it was the main fight. So the way they promoted it was like getting the hook, getting people in there, getting them excited before the main fight. And
like
I find
a blueprint for how events nights are now.
Exactly.
Isn't it? Yeah, different weight categories and different styles.
100%. And I find that fascinating that they were so ahead of the game. And then you get the grandmas, obviously, with the handbags and stuff. The demographic was different. It was all adults and shirt and ties and stuff like that. So it's totally changed over the years.
Nothing worse than that day when you find out that it's not real WWF.
Well, I went to
WWE.
Florida. I went to WWE to train with them when I retired.
Yeah.
And I met Triple H.
No way.
Yeah. He was running NXT, which is...
You're just a skinny Triple H with a
he's not as tall as I thought he was going to be.
I think he's lost some height.
Yeah, he's got age. It'll get you like that. But
He had that period where he disappeared for about 18 months and he came back a different person.
I saw that quite a bit, actually. Like, something massive as well. There's a lad, Satnam, he's in there, so I was training with him, he was 7'2", Indian lad that played professional basketball, but they got him straight in. I wouldn't say the most mobile person in the world, but because he was so humongous, they fast-tracked him straight in. And they said there was an opportunity for myself, but they said it'd take me sort of 5 years, bearing in mind I was already 34 at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll be nearly 40.
Yeah.
You want
to enjoy it.
It wasn't meant to be. But
It's hard work as well, take you at any level, but you're sitting there.
Yeah, and they're athletes. They're utter athletes, those guys. But I saw that side of it where it is the choreography is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say too much on a podcast about that because it was incredible on how they do it, how organised it is, how professional it is, and how they make it look. But just fascinating, just a good experience.
Last quick story as well, because I used to work at Northbridge Leisure Centre in Halifax, and we just had events on, as well as badminton, football, whatever.
You're not going to say you were a wrestler?
No, I'm not going to say that. I've been the shittest wrestler. I never won any fights.
The Mousey Mountain coming at you.
So we'd have big events on, like we had Jimmy White down once, and he played Ronnie O'Sullivan. That was one big event. And then we had the wrestling ones, and we had the big ring. We'd set it all up, and we had the bleachers around the side. And I remember one of the wrestlers got out of the ring to pick up a chair and smash it over somebody's head, and he picked up the wrong chair. And if people who've worked at Northbridge or are familiar with these chairs that we used to have, I'm not joking.
This is niche.
This is very niche. There were people listening to this, right? One other person listening to this.
Anyone who worked at Northbridge Leisure Centre 20 years ago.
25. These chairs, I am not joking, they were like the heaviest things, metal. He wrapped it around this guy's head. He didn't get up. I had to carry him off. And as soon as he picked it up, everybody who were working there were like, "Oh fuck, he's got the wrong chair." Honestly, I didn't think this guy was going to come round, but I'll never forget it. And he wrapped it around his head, and the noise, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Why are they different chairs?
Oh, was it? Yeah, crikey. So yeah, I thought we'd end with that.
I'm getting to relive it all again now because I've got a 7-year-old lad, and he's just got into it, and it's like I love watching it through his eyes because he's just like they're all
Is
characters,
it still on
aren't
wrestling
they?
then?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Huge.
It's absolutely
WWE is
massive again. I think it
absolutely
went through a
massive.
little bit of a dip. Well, maybe it's just because I didn't watch it because I grew up. But now I'm enjoying it again through his eyes and some of the old characters coming back.
Am I right in saying we lost poor Hulk Hogan in the last couple of weeks, didn't we?
Yeah,
We did, yeah.
Unfortunately,
I mean, it's live life to the full, innit? And it's you had a good time,
Yeah,
I imagine.
Pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
He's a controversial character as well.
Just a little bit, yeah. Just a little
Definitely,
bit.
yeah.
Right, before you wrap up, Ben, a little one from me then, because if anybody's got an hour and a half into an episode, they clearly enjoy it.
Chris wrapping down.
Before Ben brings any more stories. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'd really appreciate you popping a comment underneath, like and subscribe and all that. You probably already do. If you're on Apple, we'd love a review of the podcast. And if you're on Spotify, it should give you the opportunity to pop a comment under this episode. And we do put a little cheeky poll, so any kind of interaction. And obviously, please just share the podcast.
Chris's cheeky poll.
Thanks, Chris. I'll wrap it up because I definitely need a week. I've been told to. Yeah, I'm out of stories. But honestly, massive thanks for returning, Mel, and telling us about Lakeland.
Yeah,
best
first
of luck with
returning
your race.
guest.
First
That's a big
returning
deal.
guest.
I know,
Yeah,
I feel privileged.
yeah, absolutely. Should
And we'll be
be.
back
Yeah,
again because we obviously others
Definitely.
100%.
more
Yeah.
stuff.
Massive thanks, Earl. It's been a pleasure to have you on. Hope to have you on again as well. We can maybe talk about your first race at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for the,
We'll see
the
how
knowledge.
it goes first of all. I'll tell you how much I shit myself. No, thank you. It's been genuinely an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the knowledge, the insight, and the stories. Honestly, really, really good. So, without further ado, we'll see you next Tuesday. That's our sign off, by the way. Yeah.
I got it.
I always like to see how people react to that. It's always different every time, isn't it? Because usually they're like, "Shit, I'm fucking working next Tuesday. I'm not able to go."
Yeah, he didn't tell me about that one.
No, cheers. That's brilliant.